Today's video, how to make $100,000 in 2023. The easiest way, right? These are all the videos that are getting all the attention right now. The gurus are telling everybody how to make $100,000, how to make $1 million, and I'm gonna teach you what they're not teaching you. Because to be honest with you, those clickbaity titles, some of the videos might even have some beneficial information, but let's say there's millions of views on some of these videos. Why aren't there millions of people just making tons of money? It's because they're not focusing on things that I'm going to be teaching you today that will literally get you, whether it's $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, whatever it may be. If you do not master this one thing that we're going to be going over today, nothing else will matter. No other opportunity, no business opportunity that you ever run into will ever matter if you do not master this one skill that I'm going to teach you today. So it's vitally important to understand this, because I didn't know this. This is a skill that we're not really taught in school how to do effectively, right? And one of the greatest things that I learned was when I was kind of coming up. My mentor, who my father was, he basically said that there's two different types of communication. And I go, okay, well, what's that? What do you mean? He goes, well, there's effective communication, and then there's nonsense communication. And most people get good at the nonsense communication, which nonsense communication is you're basically talking about the weather, you're talking about things that really don't have any objective outcome, right? There's no objective outcome for the communication. You're just kind of talking about nothingness, right? And that's what most people talk about. Their communication skills are, what can I talk about that literally just lets me, get off the hook of actually having anything of substance to say. And that's what most people talk about. But communication is the number one skill that you will ever acquire in your entire life. And there are pieces to the puzzle that I will teach you about how to do effective communication. Because effective communication will get you, whether it's $100,000 you want to make this year or $1 million this year. If you do not master the art of communication, you will not succeed. Okay? So what is communication, and what is effective communication? Well, effective communication is basically if there is a point, right? There is a point where we want to, where we are, right? And then we want to go here, right? Effective communication is getting you from here to here, right? Most people kind of just, that's the communication that most people have. There's no defined outcome, right? And if you actually want something, there needs to be a defined communication of where you are going, right? Well, how do we do this? And the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of skills that you can learn in regards to, sales. You can go online right now. There's no endless opportunities for making money, right? But if you do not know how to master the communication, well, you can't win. And the reason why I'm saying communication is the overarching fundamental skill that you have to acquire. It is not just communication with the person that is buying something from you, but it is the communication that you are speaking to yourself, right? So that is the first thing that you must understand. The first piece of effective communication is understanding that decision making is very, very vital in communication. So to make decisions, right? Decisions are based off of the words that you say to yourself or the words that you say to somebody else, right? A decision is made because something if something comes into your life, and then you assess it, you talk about it, and then you make a decision. Well, if you cannot master the own communication in your brain to actually do what is necessary to do to get a desired outcome, you'll never master communication, right? So the decision-making process is the first piece of mastering communication. So you have to understand human psychology. You have to understand the biases that people have, that you have. You have to understand how things work, and you have to master decision-making. And if you can master decision-making, not only in your own brain, but then by mastering in your own brain, you know how other people's brains work, because we're all the same, right? We are emotional creatures. When somebody teaches a Shopify class on how to drop ship $100,000, next month, why isn't everybody doing it? Because you're not a robot, right? You're not a robot, and you need to understand how you make decisions. Because if you could just plug things in and just be a robot and just do things as they are, well, everybody would have the same results, right? There would be no desired outcome that would be different. But the people that are able to master the decision making by having effective communication to themselves, they can go towards this desired outcome. And then what's the second, a vital piece of mastering communication? In the decision making process, you have to understand that you are the primary decision maker for your own brain of what you want to do, but then understand the second piece, which is empathy. And you can master these things. These are skills that you can master. I was not a good decision maker. I was not always naturally an empath, right? Like, that is not my natural state. My communication skills were not always good, and they're going to hopefully get better, right? I'm always continuously working on this skill. But being able to be empathetic is where you will start to actually be able to make the decisions in your own brain, understand how other people think, but then also the empathy allows you to take the perspective of where that person is now and not put your own beliefs and own thoughts and your own prejudices on whatever their situation is, but just understand that there's a desired result over here. So we're trying to go from point A to point B, right? And effective communication is saying, if I have something that I need to make sure that this person understands, I need to know the process, the steps, right, that I need to make, right? What do I have to do? What decisions do I have to make to move along this barrier, right, to understand where they're at to get them to a desired result? I know this is a little hectic, it's a little crazy, but most people don't understand the fundamental pieces of how to make money, how to live a good life. They don't know how to do any of this and have proper communication. This is the absolute foundation to anything that you want to do in your life. You have to have proper and effective communication, not nonsensical communication where you're just kind of just saying things to say things because they sound good, right? But what is the desired outcome, right? Like, if I go talk to a client, I know what the desired outcome is because I've done it many, many times. And I also understand that every person is in a different situation. So I don't just spew the same things out every single time. I listen to them. I know I will direct them in the proper way because there is a desired outcome over here. And I know what their decision-making process is, but I also know what I will do to help them along the journey to make sure that they get the desired outcome, right? This is the pieces of the puzzle that no matter what you do, whether it's drop shipping, whatever it may be, if you can understand human psychology, which is communication, which is decision making, and which is being empathetic to another person's life, right? Other people live things different than yours. But if you can understand and master communication, I promise you that will pay you more dividends in your entire life than anything you'll ever run into. Warren Buffett said that the most beneficial class that he ever took was Dale Carnegie's, I think, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It was basically a communications class, and that was because he had a desired outcome of his life, and he knew that if he wanted to succeed in whatever he was doing, he needed to be able to communicate that effectively to the people that would be able to help him along the journey, right? So you have to understand, where are you trying to go, right? Where are you trying to go? And then how can you talk to yourself to do the things that are necessary to learn the skills along the way, to be empathetic for the people that you're trying to talk to. And if you master this communication, the decision-making process, and empathy for other people, I promise you, your life will be amazing beyond belief, right? You'll no longer have to worry about anybody else imposing their will on you, because you will know exactly what you need to do. You will know how to communicate what you want, and you will know how to understand the situation that those people are in, so you can properly navigate them to the desired outcome. Hope that was helpful. If there's anything that we want to go more in detail in, obviously these videos, we can't go, I don't know your situation. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, but this is the foundational piece. Master this, and you will master your life. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram, MOVMATT. If that is it, I will talk to you on the next one. Peace.